everybody. Welcome to the second episode of the Broke Girls Guide to Cars. And tonight I'll be talking about buy here, pay here dealerships. I actually got a comment from a reader on my blog asking me to do an episode on buy here, pay here dealerships. So here I am. I took a break for a couple weeks, but I'm back with podcasting. I'm back to blogging. So it's great to be back, and let's get started. Okay, so first of all, there are very distinct differences between a traditional dealer and a buy here, pay here dealership. So with a traditional dealer, when you're getting automotive financing, they work with a variety of lenders and finance companies. So in other words, they've got a broad network to choose from. And that's so dealers can work with a different variety of customers, people with excellent credit, people with so-so credit, and to some degree, people with really crappy credit, which in many cases is most of us. I mean, let's face it. So anyway, a dealer can also help you find the car you want and then discuss financing and whether or not you're actually able to afford the payments on that car. The financing is always handled by an outside third party, such as a manufacturer's finance company, such as Toyota Motor Credit, Ford Motor Credit, Honda Motor Credit, a bank, or a credit union. So you have a lot of financing options to choose from, and a decent dealership will help you find the right financing for you if you haven't obtained pre-approved financing already. Your payments will be made on a monthly basis at the same interest rate for the life of the loan unless you choose to refinance the vehicle 1 or 2 years down the line. Your payments are never going to change. Secondly, the traditional finance companies or banks or credit unions also report to the credit agencies. So in other words, if you're looking to establish credit or improve your credit, and if you make your payments on time, they report your payment history to the credit agencies. And in turn, that will help you secure more credit in the future, or maybe a better interest rate, or an additional car loan a few years from now when you get this one paid off. In other words, it's a good idea to go with a lender who's going to report to the credit agencies, because one of the reasons for taking out automotive financing is to demonstrate your ability to use credit wisely. Also, the vehicles tend to be of better quality. They've gone through an inspection, they've been road tested. Typically, a lot of them have a Carfax report available at hand. The dealer's more cooperative with you wanting to take the vehicle off the lot to have a pre-sale inspection done by an outside mechanic. In some case, there is some warranty protection, either an aftermarket warranty, or in the case of Kia and Hyundai, if the vehicle is under 100,000 miles, there will still be some factory warranty protection. Very often it is transferable from one buyer to the other. So you have many more options and a great deal of protection when buying a car through a dealership or a licensed automotive broker. Okay, so buy here, pay here dealerships. Typically, these are very small lots. You'll find them on street corners in larger communities, particularly in communities where there are a lot of low-income people or people without the resources to go to a bank, credit union, or dealership and secure financing. You'll see a lot of different cars. You'll see a lot of older cars. You'll see a lot of late model cars. Typically, they've got high mileage, or there's something wrong with them. The way their financing works is definitely different from the dealership. All the financing is done in-house. So in other words, they don't send your paperwork off to a finance company, credit union, or bank that you have agreed on. They take care of everything at the dealership. So when you make your payments, you make them directly to the dealership. And the way the payments work out is typically they are made on a weekly basis, not monthly as you would find with traditional automotive financing, but typically weekly or bi-weekly, usually every pay period. And you physically bring your payment to the dealership. There's no mailing it in or automatic draft from your checking account. You physically have to bring the payment in to the dealership. Very often, buy here, pay here dealerships do not report to the credit agencies. So, as much as they promise you that by buying a car through them you can improve or establish your credit rating, it doesn't make any difference if they don't report to the credit agencies. Typically, the vehicles that they have no warranties. They're older, they're completely out of factory warranty. They may offer an aftermarket warranty, but be careful, it's typically very costly, and they'll tack the cost of that warranty onto your monthly payment. The interest rate, be very careful. They tend to run much higher than a dealership interest rate. You're looking at 12 to 20%. And because the dealer isn't held to the same regulations as a bank or an automotive finance company, they could change the terms of the loan at any time, and that includes the interest rate. Also, the cars through buy here, pay here dealerships tend to be overpriced. So if you are walking past a buy here, pay here dealership and you see a car you really like that you're thinking of buying, get the information on the vehicle, go home, research it on Kelley Blue Book online, and see where the dealer's price comes in relationship to the Kelley Blue Book price, just to make sure you're not going to get ripped off when you buy this car. Also, be aware that these dealers tend to equip their cars with either GPS or ignition blocking equipment. That way, if you fall behind on your payment, they can quickly repossess the vehicle, turn around, and resell it to somebody else. And that practice is called churning, or churning a vehicle. And again, buy here, pay here dealerships are targeted toward customers who either have no credit or very poor credit, and or are lower income in comparison to a traditional car buyer. So all that being said, what if you still want to go with a buy here, pay here dealership? Your back is against the wall, you need a car, your boss is sick of accommodating your bus schedule, Uber either doesn't run in your community or it's just too expensive, and friends and family are sick of hauling you around, and a buy here, pay here dealership is the only recourse you've got. Okay, first of all, research this dealership carefully. Go on Yelp, go on Google, read the reviews, see what people are saying, see if there's a consistent pattern to the reviews, or these people just pissed off and posting a negative review for whatever reason. But do your homework on this dealership before agreeing to do business with them. That's very important. Also, when presented with the contract, look at that interest rate very carefully and make sure it's the same one that you and the dealer have agreed upon. And make sure it is for the life of the loan, that it will not change. There are a lot of online rate calculators that you can use to calculate your monthly payment. Make sure that there are no other fees attached to the vehicle. Sometimes they like to tack on fees such as payment protection insurance or an aftermarket warranty that you did not ask for. So look at that contract very carefully. When in doubt, don't sign it, or bring somebody with you who is really good at interpreting complex legal language, because you'll find that on these contracts very often. They're designed to kind of throw people off and to get them to the point where they're so flustered they go ahead and sign the thing because they just want to get out the door. Also understand that with some of these vehicles, they're not in the best shape. So if the buy here, pay here dealer is not willing to let you take the car off the lot to get an outside pre-sale inspection by a mechanic, don't do it. They usually have something to hide by not allowing you to take the car off the lot to get it inspected. So that should be your number one red flag right there. At that point, you'll just have to walk away, find another resource for purchasing a vehicle, even if it is another buy here, pay here dealership. Also with these guys, don't expect them to work with you if you happen to fall behind. Life happens, medical bills, you lose your job, you get your hours cut. Somebody in your household loses their job and now you're the only one in the household making any money. Understand that these folks are not willing to work with you. Typically what will happen is they will make an attempt to repossess your car even if you're a couple days late. Now with a traditional dealer, if you give them a call or rather a traditional financing company, bank, or credit union, if you give them a call and let them know what's going on, very often they'll work with you. They may not do it for months on end, but at least they'll make an effort to work with you. And that's the key. You're buying a car as a means of economic mobility, to find a new job, to find a second job, to go to school, activities like that that could either bring you more income in the present or in the future. So you don't want this car to be an additional financial burden. So if you do end up in hot water and not able to make your payment on time, realize that with a buy here, pay here dealership, they don't care. They're going to come and get the car because their business model is based on quickly repossessing and then turning around and reselling cars. So it's really important when you are looking at buying a car to understand all of your options and to use extra caution when dealing with a buy here, pay here dealership. And I totally get it. Sometimes that is your only option. So buyer beware, as all the consumer websites and resources say. Look at the contract, look it over very carefully, make sure it's the interest rate that you and the salesperson have agreed upon, and that interest rate is going to hold for the life of the loan. That's very important. Make sure the car is decent, that the pricing is fair, and that the dealership will let you take it off the lot to get it inspected. So anyway, that's it for now. I wanted to make this really quick so you can listen to this on your break or on your way to work or on your way to school. This wraps up the second episode of the Broke Girls Guide to Cars. Head on over to my blog at thebrokeGirlsGuideToCars.com. You could also follow me on Facebook at The Broke Girls Guide to Cars. I'm on Twitter and Instagram as Elaine Loves Cars. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if there's anything you would like to hear me cover in the future, leave me a comment below and I'll see if I can get to it. Next time I'll be back with more real life car advice for people on a budget. Talk to you next time.